This episode is brought to you ad-free thanks to all of our wonderful patrons. You can get tons of exclusive content and help us keep the show going by joining at patreon.com/ShonenFlop. Jordan?
Yep.
Can you believe that we've been doing ShonenFlop for almost 18 years?
Only 18 years? I feel like I've been doing it my whole life, David.
I know, but it's a shame that our life is only 3 years because we have the same average life expectancy of a rat.
Yeah. Well, you know, in rat years, that's 18 years.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I remember my first rat bar mitzvah. That's kind of the plot of Mouse, comparing rats to Jews. Shit.
And then there's fucking... and then, you know, they all die.
Oh, whoops.
Wow, Mouse is good. It's very good.
I'm not ready to die, but I am dying to rank everything we've read so far. So listeners, what we are going to be doing is going through in order of coverage, everything from Zon to Tokyo Demon Bride Story in our Patreon content and putting them in tiers from S to FF. Jordan and I have made our own lists. So we're going to kind of figure out who's got the right opinion, you know, talk about it, and then ultimately integrate those into our master list. So you reader can see every single series we have ever read for this podcast and how they all flow together.
You're going to see, listener, what the correct opinions are to have on these manga, you know?
Yes. Since we're doing it in order of how we read it, we are actually starting with Zon, which I think...
FF.
I feel pretty good. We'll both put in FF.
Zon's fucking trash.
Zon will definitely be a contender for worst thing we've ever read when that time comes.
Holy shit, Zon sucks. I don't know how it's that bad, David.
Right. And then next up, Jordan, we have The Last Sayuki. I put this in the middle of C tier. I thought it had some good parts. It wasn't overall great, but definitely we've read a lot worse.
That's the thing. I remember that the first chapter was trash, and then the series immediately got significantly better and had really good art. The problem is I don't remember shit about it.
Yeah, I just remember it had like the magical girl parody character that was kind of funny.
I don't even remember that. I barely remember anything about that series.
So should we do C for can't remember what happened?
Yeah, I remember it not being awful. I remember it not being bad, but it's just did not stick with me at all.
Sounds good. All right, next up we have Bao, which I feel will be the first series we're going to disagree with. Jordan, where did you put Bao?
I put that in B.
Okay, I put it in C tier. I actually thought it was a little bit worse than The Last Sayuki.
Really?
It's so clunky. The art got some issues. The plot has a lot of flow issues, but I know why you like it.
I mean, obviously it's Araki, but beyond that, I think it was pretty interesting. I definitely remember Bao significantly more than I remember The Last Sayuki. It just has a lot more staying power.
So do you want to put in B tier or the top of C?
B for Bao.
All right, fair. Next we have Ayashimon.
Let's see. I keep getting Ayashimon confused with Akaboshi.
Ayashimon is the one by the Hell's Paradise guy about the dude who just likes fighting people.
I put that in D.
D, really? I thought it was better than The Last Sayuki because at least it had some fun characters and pretty good art.
I just felt like there was like nothing to it. Like it had like very little to go on. It's definitely not a B.
Oh yeah, I would never put it in B tier. I think it was actually honestly one of the I would say it's definitely above the 50th percentile.
I would agree. I would put it at like the bottom of C tier.
So you like it less than The Last Sayuki?
You know what? No, you have a point. I got a grade on the curve of the other manga that we read. Yeah, it's
I'll put it at the top of C tier for now.
Yeah.
And then, Jordan, we have our second, probably guaranteed FF tier, which is, you want to guess?
Oh, you mean Protect Me Shugamaru?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's fucking trash. Fucking garbage.
I'm going to say it's better than Zon, though.
That is the lowest fucking bar. It's only better than Zon because it just suddenly has Magu-chan.
Yeah, the Magu chapter makes it better than Zon.
There is actually a legitimate reason to at least read 3 chapters of Protect Me Shugamaru. That's it. There is no reason to ever read Zon. There is nothing there.
Yep. And speaking of nothing there, probably one of the most forgettable series we ever read, Monster Hunter or Raj, not to be confused with Monster Hunter Orange, which I just invented it as a fruit. So if you try and make your own Monster Hunter themed fruit, I will sue you. Jordan, where would you put this guy?
I put this in C because I remember the art being pretty decent. I remember moment to moment, it wasn't bad, but there was a ton of issues with the plot and it's kind of unmemorable. You can tell that the artist or / writer did not really care. Like he was just going for a paycheck.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like he was still competent enough where it wasn't painful to read. So I would put it in C.
I put it in D tier, but yeah, I think the bottom of C tier. How's that sound?
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Okay. Next, we have our first series that I know for a fact will at least be B tier, and that is Duranki. Where would you put that?
I'd put it in B.
I put it above Bao, though.
Okay, I'll be fine with that.
Because it's got some good fucking art, man.
It had good art, and then it had very uncanny valley art. I mean, it wasn't Mira drawing it, is the thing. Like, obviously, if Mira drew it, the art would be fantastic. I felt like it got a little too busy sometimes. It was almost like too detailed.
And it makes me so sad it'll never be finished.
Yeah, I remember the eyes being like creepy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're going to get into some creepy stuff later.
Oh, yeah. I would say B. It was competent, which is way better than most of the shit here. It had some good stuff in it, so yeah.
Fair. And next up, we have the great value brand Ayashimon, which is Dororon, which is by the Golem Hearts guy. And I feel that's kind of D for D tier.
Yeah, I kind of put it in C, but like, I would accept D. Yeah, like it's kind of like...
I had it at the top of D tier.
I think I also have some bias because like I have like positive feelings towards Golem Hearts, and there's like, even though that is not a very good series, and like it was nice to see the guy's style again, and I think he did some stuff like the protagonist was likable.
The little guy,
His little guy was likable too. Like I would love to get like a plushie of that little guy, but
oh yeah, but he's no Magu.
Oh, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I would say D tier. I think that makes sense. Yeah.
All right, and then next up we have Earthchild, aka the best manga that should have only been one chapter.
I put that in F, and the thing that saves it from FF is that first chapter.
I had it at the bottom of D tier, but I can see it in F, so I'll put it there.
Every other chapter was trash. Like it got worse as the series went on. Yeah.
That Earth Lollipop was cool though.
There were small good moments, but
yep. God. I think he went back to space back and forth like 3 times, and yeah, that series is such a plot mess.
Complete fucking mess.
All right, and then we have another very easy bad series, Hi-Fi Cluster.
FF, yeah, that series.
You put this in FF?
I put it in FF.
I thought it's bad, but I honestly don't think it's as bad. Like, is it in the same conversation as Protect Me Shugamaru and Zan?
Ooh, that's a good point. It's not as painful to read, like actively painful. So I'll support F. It's
okay,
bad.
But I'll say it's worse than Earthchild.
Yes, it doesn't even have that first chapter. It's just bad.
All right, next we have Sakuretsu Taiwahen.
I put it in B.
B tier. I had it in C tier, but yeah, I know it has some fun stuff. I'll give it to you.
The thing is, it's like the plot is a mess, but the author is so aware of it being a mess that he does a lot of really fun things with it.
He was like, yeah, this didn't work out, dog.
It just winds up, like, I enjoyed reading it. Like, yeah, we agreed it was a flop, but I enjoyed reading that series a lot.
So you would put a series that's a flop in B tier? I would say B tier is definitely not a flop territory. So do you want it at the top of C tier then?
It's tough. I really enjoyed reading Sakura Tetsu Taiwan, is the thing.
Sounds more like that's the top of C tier then, because I would say C is the start of flops.
All right, I can be cool with it at C tier. It's just it was weird because like it really did feel like this series could not continue. It had no legs, but like the way he ended it was hilarious.
With a completely different manga.
Completely different manga that was so fucking funny. The art was fantastic the whole way through. It ran exactly as long as it needed to. Kind of like, it wasn't as good as Time Paradox Ghostwriter, but it had that same kind of thing where it was like this series ended exactly when it needed to.
Oh, for sure. Let's get on to the next one. We have Super Smartphone. I put this in F tier. I remember chapter 3 being one of the worst chapters of manga I've ever read in my entire life.
I put it in F tier. The thing that saved it from FF is that it was so bad it was funny.
Oh, yeah. And the art was actually pretty solid, too.
The art was decent. It wound up just being like the thing is, yeah, it was awful, but it felt like if you told me it was an intentional parody of manga, I would believe you 100%.
Oh, yeah. I think it's worse than Earthchild, but better than Hi-Fi Cluster. What do you think?
I would agree with that.
Okay, cool. Next up, then we have Akaboshi, which, speaking of really good art,
I put Akaboshi in F tier, and the thing that saves it is the art, because everything else about that series was terrible.
Vacuums. Why did a guy in ancient China know what vacuums are?
Dude, I don't know what the hell was up with that setting. Like, they had like hamburgers and shit. I had no clue when and where. Like, I knew when it was allegedly supposed to take place, but there were so many anachronisms that it felt like that was just part of the series I was supposed to accept, except when I was not. It was very confusing.
Yeah, and then Jordan, so I would say I think this is better than Hi-Fi Cluster because at least it had really good art. Where does it stack against the other parts of F tier?
Definitely better than Hi-Fi Cluster. The question is it better or worse than Super Smartphone? I kind of think it's worse.
Yeah, that's where I had it too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next up, we have Aliens Area, which is one of those series. It's like there's a lot of bad, but there actually is some good when you think about it.
I feel like this is made for D tier.
D tier, yeah, I can agree with that.
It's not so much that it's good as much as it's not nearly as bad.
There's nothing it does terribly. It just doesn't do anything good enough to take it out of D tier.
It's just like, whatever.
Yeah. All right, cool. Next up, we have Instant Bullet, where I'm sure those 3 chapters where it was good are pulling a lot of weight and saving it from F tier.
I put it in F tier. That was the thing that saved it for FF tier for me.
You know what? That's fair.
Again, everything else was trash. It was like impossible to follow. Art was pretty good, I think, but like everything was so over the top edgy. It was like obnoxious. But then, yeah, those 3 chapters when they're in high school, it's like it felt like you were reading Love is War again, you know? Like,
yeah, he should make a manga like that.
He should make a manga like that. Crazy.
So, Jordan, where would you put this in F tier?
I might put it at like the top of F tier.
Because it's got 3 good chapters versus Earthchild, which only had 1 good chapter.
The parts where it was a mess, I still feel like they were more interesting than Earthchild. Earthchild got very weird and generic even when it was doing weird ass shit. Like, it was just like you remember the parents who were really shitty and then it presented them as being really good? Like,
and speaking of really shitty and really good, how about Ill Boy, Ill Girl, aka Shonen Shoujo, where it had really good art and then really, really confusing writing?
This one was a little bit confusing as to whether F or FF. I think I ultimately put it in FF on mine, but the thing is, it's like, it's trying something new. I don't think I'll ever forget Ill Boy, Ill Girl.
I don't think you can be an FF tier if you have really good art unless it's a pedophile manga. I think you need to have both bad art and bad writing. And the art was immaculate in Ill Boy, Ill Girl.
Yeah, the thing about Ill Boy, Ill Girl is that it was completely up its own ass.
Oh, for sure.
But I would...
I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's...
Oh, no, totally. This is between F and FF, you know? I would be totally cool with F tier.
Where in F tier? I guess it's really, is it better or worse than Hi-Fi Cluster?
I think it's better than Hi-Fi Cluster just because it's memorable.
And the art, again,
the art's really good, and the art in Hi-Fi Cluster is dog shit.
And then next up, our second manga from a manga creator I really like, we have Tista.
What else did the Tista guy do? I forgot.
That was Spy Family.
Right. I would put it in F tier.
Do you like it more or less than Instant Bullet?
Ooh,
I'm going to say I like it less because I don't remember Tista having any really fun parts.
I think it's better than Earthchild, but I think it's worse than Instant Bullet.
I'm totally content with that. All right, cool. Next, Jordan, I think we have our first contender for A tier. This is going to be in B tier no matter what. We have Tricks Dedicated to Witches, which I will just flat out say is still the best manga we've read this entire year.
I put it in S tier.
S tier?
Yeah.
You know what? You're right. I'll put an S tier. I would have 100% read this in real time if I had known about this.
That's the thing. It's like just a good ass series. And again, we're grading on the curve of everything else.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Next, we have Metallica Matulika.
FF. Immediately just trash, absolute garbage. Nothing contributes nothing to anything.
I will say it's the best part of FF so far, though. Is definitely better than Protect Me and Zon.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? Compared to those two, I guess it is slightly better. The bar is low as fuck, but I guess it just barely clears it. Just, oh my God, what a trash series.
All right. And then, Jordan, we have our final series from a successful offer. We have Nico Wappa, where I had a soft spot. I put it at the top of C tier.
I put it in C tier as well.
Okay.
I agree at the top of C tier. It's like...
It's fun.
It's almost good.
Remember the gerbil? What was it? Like a gerbil that like became like a Genko, the guy from Evangelion parody?
Yeah, that was really good. No, there were a lot of really good little moments. It just nothing really held it together, you know?
Yeah, just like we have False Detective. Where do you want to put this?
D.
D for detective.
D for detective. I mean, the only thing... Look, I loved Kako. I really liked Kako. And there were like some small moments. There were some moments with the main character.
Damn, bitch, you live like this?
Yeah, the main character had some moments, but man, that series, everything else was bad. If it wasn't for Kako or the occasional...
She's keeping it out of F tier.
She's keeping it out of F tier is basically where I'm at.
So that sounds like a bottom of D tier to me.
Yeah.
Next up, we have every boomer's favorite manga, Champagne.
Ooh, this was tough. I didn't know if F or FF. It's really hard because this series has nothing to it.
Hey, it's good cover art, which is the only time the artist gets to be creative.
The only way to get anything positive out of this series is to ignore half of the written words.
Yeah.
Because it's the Wikipedia article for Champagne. I would actually say FF because
I feel like it's the bottom of F because it's like, it's not aggressively bad. It's just boring and boomer. And again, it's got good art. And I don't think it's in the same conversation as Metallica Matulika.
Or Protect Me Shugamaru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would not put this in the same box as those series.
It wasn't actively painful. It was a little annoying, but it was
I would honestly say I would rate this probably above Akaboshi. Like, I think it's actually a contender for a solid F tier series.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay. Do you want to move it to the top of F tier then, or?
I think I would still rather read Instant Bullet and Super Smartphone even. Like,
after Instant Bullet, but before Tista?
I'd put it after Super Smartphone, kind of. I just feel like there's...
So where I have it is fine.
Yeah, I just think there's no reason to read it.
So I'll put it in the middle of F tier.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Demon's Plan, aka another one-chapter wonder. I don't know if people saw that meme where I had like the handshake, and it's Earthchild and Demon's Plan shaking hands, and only the first chapter is good or something like that.
Yeah, I put it in F tier.
F tier? Where in F tier, my friend?
Oh, man, I think...
It's definitely better than Hi-Fi Cluster because it had at least one good chapter.
It is better than Hi-Fi Cluster. I think... it's tough to say. Like, it was really bad. But
Yeah.
the first chapter was pretty good. I think it's a little worse than Earthchild.
So you want it all the way up there?
Uh,
So it's better than Super Smartphone?
this is so hard.
I think it's worse than Champagne.
I agree. I think it's a little better than Akaboshi.
Okay, there you go. And then Jordan, our final series that we read in the main episodes, we have Tokyo Demon Bride's Story. I put this in D tier. I think it's got some issues, but solid art. It's fun. It's just inoffensive, as we talked about. And that's really like, I can't imagine being worse than D tier with how we discussed it.
I would agree. I put it in D tier as well.
How would you rank it versus False Detective? I had it before, but after Duran Duran.
I think it's better than False Detective. And I would agree with that.
All right, cool. And then, Jordan, we have 3 special manga we need to talk about because we covered them on Patreon. First up, we have A Gravity Boys, where I would put B for Bennis.
I put...
Jordan's like, fuck it, that's really funny. Put it in B tier.
Yeah, I had it in A tier along with Magu-chan in A tier.
I mean, I'm not opposed to putting those in A tier.
Yeah, A for A Gravity. I don't know, like, again, it's comparing to everything else. You know, I'm fine with B tier for them, but, like, it's also, like, I feel like they're better than Duranki and Bao, is the thing.
Yeah, I'm going to put them at the top of B tier.
Yeah. And then Gyo is just not fair to have on this list.
I actually didn't like Gyo that much, but...
I love Gyo. I think
You're just
Gyo...
going to put in S tier,
Yes.
so we'll compromise and put in A tier.
Yes.
There, so we have something in A tier.
I think that Gyo is just a horror classic. It has a ton of themes. It's like the art is fantastic and creepy. There are horrifying moments in that series. I think it is better than Tricks Dedicated to Witches. But like, you know, this is a co-op thing here. So, yeah.
All right. So we have our official ranking of, or the manga we have read in year 3 of Shonen Flop. That is S tier is Tricks Dedicated to Witches. A tier is Gyo. B tier is Magu-chan, A Gravity Boys, Doraki, and Bao. C tier is Nikawappa. Then Sakuretsu Taiwahen, Ayashimon, The Last Sayuki, and Monster Hunter Orage. D tier, we have Aliens Arena, Duran Duran, Tokyo Demon Bride's Story, Kaku and the False Detective. And in F tier, we have Instant Bullet, Tista, Earthchild, sorry, Earthchild stand in our Discord, Super Smartphone, Champagne, Demon's Plan, Akaboshi, Ill Boy, Ill Girl, and Hi-Fi Cluster. And then our newest additions to the F tier are Metallica, Matuluka, Protect Me Shigemaru, and Zon. And that's the official list of how we would rank everything we've read this year.
Also, David, I would like to point out you called it Aliens Arena again.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, who fucking cares? I just think it's funny.
That series actually is really good cover art for its volume releases.
I believe it.
And then, Jordan, now we go into the second part of this episode where we're going to slot these folks into the Lifetime stuff.
Ooh, Lifetime television for manga. What? What? What was that? Why did I say that? Whatever, fuck it.
Whatever, we're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go through the order in which that these have been listed in the tier maker. So first up, we have Protect Me Shigemaru. How does that rank towards our friends in the FF tier?
It's still FF. Like,
Yeah, the tiers won't change. It's just where they slot in the tiers.
mm-hmm. Oh, man.
I think it's better than SWAT.
Ooh. Hold on. I gotta like figure out I gotta remember what these cover arts are. I mean, it's certainly an FF. There's no doubt about it in my mind. It's an FF. And
Nothing's changing tiers. It just is where it's placed in the tier.
oh man, it might be worse than Build King, but it's not. I mean, first of all, I think School Judgment needs its own tier because it's not even. It doesn't even have anything to do with the specific quality of the writing. It's just straight up actually a pedophile manga. You know what I mean? Like that should be the go to jail tier, the criminal tier.
Pedophile.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
3 Fs.
It's not fair to compare anything else to that. It's like.
The other alternative was saying pedophile, but the PH in the middle is with 3 Fs.
Yeah. Is it better or worse than Zon? I think that the Magu-chan chapter makes it better than SWAT, and I think that's the only thing. That's the only reason.
Fair. All right, next up we have Tricks Dedicated Witches. I feel the real argument is this better or worse than Time Paradox Ghost Rider?
Yeah, it's not as good as Time Paradox Ghost Rider.
Still an extremely good series.
Yeah.
Tokyo Demon Bride Story. So we had that in D tier.
I think it's better than Monster Tamer Girls.
Oh, for sure.
Is it better or worse than Love Rush?
I don't think so.
You don't think it's better or worse? Which one?
I would put it between Arbla Oath and Love Rush.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm down with that.
I mean, this is all very inoffensive series. Next we have...
I think the art saves it. I think some of the characters save it.
Yeah. The fucking Goblin Mode sister and the fucking cat lady. Next we have Super Smartphone. Jordan, where does this live in F tier?
Ooh.
I would say it's actually one of the... I think it's worse than Hungry Joker.
Worse than Hungry Joker. How does it rank compared to Neru, you think?
Well, Neru's higher up than Hungry Joker.
Yeah, what's...
You said it was worse than Hungry Joker.
Yeah, I think it's better than Tokyo Shinobi Squad.
But not as good as Guardian of the Witch?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then we have Ayashimon. So this lived in C tier. I think it is better than Red Sprite.
Yeah, I agree. It's better than Red Sprite. And then, yeah, I mean, David is definitely better than it. Right, David?
Yeah, I am definitely better than Red Sprite, the manga that's a metaphor for the founding of Israel. And then we have Nico Wappa. Where does Nico Wappa live in the C tier? I think
it's like at the top of C tier.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it was pretty good.
It was just missing something.
And then for Hi-Fi Rush, how does this compare to, I want to say Beast Children?
I feel like Hi-Fi Rush is... Oh, fuck. Now you have me doing it. Hi-Fi Cluster. I feel like Hi-Fi Cluster is on the level of Tokyo Shinobi Squad. It's just not as racist. So it's like...
Better than Tokyo Shinobi Squad.
Yeah, so in terms of actual quality of manga creation, it's about there.
So actually, since we're doing that means we can now put everything else that was in between. We can now put Champagne, Demons Playing Akaboshi, and Il Boy, Il Girl, because those are in between the 2 series we just added to the list. So let me do that right now.
Yeah, there we go. See, I'm speeding things up.
Pro gamer move to do that.
Hell yeah, speedrun. Speedrun the tier list.
All right, fucking, that was definitely a level skip for this discussion.
The only reason Hi-Fi Cluster is better is because it's just not racist.
What if Shinobi Squad wasn't racist?
It would be better because of the art.
And then, Jordan, we have our second FF discussion. Where does Metallica go? Is it better or worse than Gunblaze West?
It's worse than Gunblaze West, I think. Like, Gunblaze West was definitely ripping things off, but not nearly as blatantly as Metallica.
And then how does Zon live? Zon, by definition, is a worse SWAT.
Zon is a worse SWAT. Is it better or worse than Bone Collection?
I think it's worse than Peach.
I agree.
It might be worse than actually fucking Bokusan.
I think it might be between Bokusan and Build King.
I think so.
You could argue it's worse than Build King, but
Build King was also made by a pedophile. It's just not a pedophile manga. But then again, so was Gunblaze West.
Yeah, Gunblaze West was made... I mean, Watsky is a more egregious pedophile than the other guy, like if we're comparing the two. And Watsky has not even had a single bit of comeuppance for his crimes, I think. But like, we're just talking about the quality of manga. I think
actually Zon is worse than Build King.
I agree, actually, the more I'm thinking about it. Zon is really bad.
Thanks, Maxi B, for having us read it.
Zon is so bad.
No, I'm just kidding. Maxi B's great. Happy birthday, Maxi B. All right, next up we have Q. Where does this live in A tier?
Let's see.
Your competition is Hardboiled Cop and Dolphin, Double Taisei, and Mora King.
Those are some heavy hitters. I mean, I would put it in S and above because I just think it's like a
So you want to just put it at the top of
series.
S tier? Will that make you happy? Or the top of A tier?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Next up, speaking of manga created by legends, we have Doraki. Where do you want to put this bad boy? We put that in B tier. I think it's better than Candy Flurry. That's a fact.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Next up, we have Bao, which is Bao better or worse than Candy Flurry? Is it better or worse than ITEL C?
I think it's worse than ITEL C, but I loved ITEL C. See, that's the thing.
So we'll just put it at the bottom of B tier. That's fine.
Okay.
All right, cool. We are wrapping things up. Next up, we have A Gravity Boys. Where does this guy go?
Bottom of A tier, and I would put Mangu also at the bottom of A tier just because the other series are bangers.
Yeah, but above A Gravity Boys.
Yeah.
Okay, I am fine with that. Next, we have Aliens Area.
Yay, you did it.
So that was the top of D tier in our list. Looking at this, I think I liked Dark Mage more, but I would put it above the 9 Dragons.
I would agree. I think that like the thing about Aliens area is it's almost an F tier for me, but it's not. It's not.
Well, we put it at the top of D tier.
Yeah. Is it better or worse than Annihilation?
We ranked it above Tokyo Demon Bride, which is above Love Rush.
Ooh.
So the question is, better or worse than Robot Laser Beam, Dark Mage, Nine Dragons Ball, Parade, or Our Blood Oath?
I don't think it's as good as Dark Mage.
Okay. All right, cool. Next up, we have False Detective, which we know is worse than Demon Bride Story, but how does it rank towards things like Love Rush or Barrage or Annihilation?
I think Kako saves it in a lot of ways. I think it is better than Love Rush, if for no other reason than I remember it. And there were some genuinely good moments of that series, and I don't remember a single fucking thing about Love Rush.
I just remember Love Rush being good, and then there was like an underage girl, and it was like,
Yeah, an underage succubus, yeah.
Yeah, and then next up we have the Last Sayuki. We had this in C tier. We had it below Ayashimon, so how does it compare to Red Sprite and Zipman?
I think it's worse than Zipman.
Okay, man, Zipman really had some fucking great art.
Zipman had fantastic art, and yeah.
It's only in C tier because the art was really good.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have Duran. The question is it better or worse than Our Blood Oath and Nine Dragon Ball Parade?
You know what? I kind of feel like it's worse than both of those, actually.
All right, cool. Next up we have Tista. Tista we had an F tier. Where is Tista living?
Tista.
It's better than Super Smartphone.
Super Smartphone. Let's see. I think it's a little better than Guardian of the Witch.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Next we have Earthchild, which we put is it better or worse than Guardian of the Witch, Earthchild?
Oh, this one's tough. I want to say worse.
Guardian of the Witch was just not very good, but Earthchild was really bad besides that first chapter.
Oh, Earthchild was so bad.
And then this one, Jordan, you have a special spot in your heart. We have Sakura to Taiwa Hen. There's a wide range of C tiers it can compete against.
Ooh,
I feel like I liked it more than Hell Warden.
I definitely agree with that. I liked it significantly more than Hell Warden. I would even put it above
Teenage Renaissance David.
Yes.
Next up, we have Monster Hunter Irage, which with Last Sayuki at the bottom of C tier, it just goes right next to it.
Monster Hunter Irage is like the most C tier manga I've ever read.
And then finally, we have Instant Bullet.
IBS.
Now, Jordan, it's got some competition between U19, Neru, Hungry Joker, and Godspeed. How does it compete against all of those?
God, those 3 chapters make it better than all of those. Again, it's the low ass bar, and it's competing with trash. This is not a compliment to Instant Bullet because it was trash. But yeah, I would put it above all those.
Well, Jordan, that wraps up our conversation. As a reminder, you can find a screenshot of mine, Jordan, and our 2023 and our lifetime list in the show notes. And I want to say, Jordan, thank you so much for all your hard work in the show and editing the chibi.
Oh, David, thank you so much for your own hard work on the show and for also editing the chibi.
Props to Shannon for the awesome cover art. Find her online at illuminyatea. Thank you, Dylan, for assistance for editing. Find his podcast, Anime Out of Context, at animeoutcontext.com. Thanks to Tucker and Maxie B. Happy birthday, Maxie B. For assistance with pronunciation, translation, other miscellaneous research.
Happy birthday, Maxie B.
Find us on Twitter at Shonen Flopcast and our website, shonenflop.com. We're also on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, or wherever else you get your podcasts. And come join the Shonen Flop Discord. Open to everyone, patron or not. Come hang out with us and talk about anime, games, or whatever else is on your mind. I also have a monthly movie night, and we might have a book club that's coming back. Stay tuned. Find a link to it in the show notes or on our site. And if you've been enjoying our podcast and you want to help us keep growing, consider subscribing to our Patreon. We wouldn't be able to keep the show running without their support. Get a ton of awesome perks like exclusive content, including this month's piece of content, which, Jordan, what are we dropping this month?
Our next part in our coverage of Magu-chan featuring Derek Great Big Sword.
Hell yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Hell yeah.
You could even be listening into our recordings right now. Big shout out to everyone listening in right now or listening to our warm-up audio. Find it at patreon.com/shonenflop. And on that note, I'm going to read off our wonderful patrons. Starting with our Chainsaw Man patrons, we have Dude Man Bro Guy and My Doctor Said I'm low in vitamin D, so I'm listening to all the episodes featuring Daddy D, sultry voice. Moving on down to the Ravioli tier where you get photos of my puppy Ravioli.
How's she doing, David? How's she doing?
Oh, she had a great time at the park yesterday. She was a little goblin mode dog.
Oh.
Or you'll see photos of that next week. We have Chris, Eva, Israfont, Josh Robinson, Karate Chopsticks, Rachel, my wonderful fiance. I hope you are having a great time in Florida, even though your plane just got delayed a whole bunch. Oof. I made sure to have Ravioli send her a Mother's Day card.
Aww.
Scarlett Mirmanen and Trevor Schechner. Moving on down to the King of the Forest, we have 090Z, Albie, Shala Florine, Ego, Gabe Lando, Jacob Andrew Galloway, Kirby Mon, Marty, Max Baker, T, the Dungeon Master Next Door, the Real Jory, the Wolf, the Wood, and Trafalgar, and Tommy Boy. And then moving on down to the Galactic Ball Federation officers, we have a mid-sized Satan, Andy's Islands, Blah Moo Moo, Brian Sexton, David Ackerson, Dennis James Moan, Drago, Truett, Dylan Crider, Electric Oak, Nigel, Generic Man, Green, Hans, Heavy Metal Hermit Crab, Keanu, Lincoln Frey, Majority Gosling, Manly P. Hall, Marabara, my dad, Matt Solovich, Mike Carpenter, Ralph S. Scott, Resident Warhammer Nerd, Rosanna Mendoza, Ryan Jasinski, Sarah Hydras, Scott, Simping for Senpai Ash, Staghorn, Tapir Clip, our very own Tucker Watley, and ZZ Digital. Thank you all so much to all of our wonderful patrons and our Beast Children.
Yes, thank you so much. I love all of you very much. You mean so much to me. You mean so much to me, everybody.
Jordan, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, check out my Instagram, Jordan Forbes Art, my website, jordanforbes.art. Give me a job. I'm still, trying to make money in this place, this capitalist hellscape that we call America. America.
Well, thank you so much for listening. Tune in next Monday for our 3-year anniversary where we relook at Beast Children, the OG terrible series we read, and how worse it got.
Oh.
Joining us is our own generic man. This has been David.
This has been Jordan.
You've been listening to Shonen Flop.
Yeah, keep on flopping floppers, make that tier list.
Jordan's skipping his lines, but that's okay. Bye.